the today's discussion about release liner circularity. I'm very excited to talk about this topic as a release liner. Recycling is clearly a great opportunity for circularity moving forward. Why that? Across many operations, release liners are still ending up in residual waste streams. But recycling routes can work where awareness, very important, collection and acceptance criteria are in place. I'm Marius from ViaPackaging UG, supporting CELAB Europe with project management. And in this series produced on behalf of CELAB Europe, we feature operational circular solutions, including limitations. And then today we are joined by Mark from Techlan UK. Hi, Mark.
Good morning, Marius. How are you doing?
Very good, actually. It's a very cold day in Munich today, but doing very well. And thanks for making time for us today.
Not a problem at all.
Very good. I have a couple of questions for you, actually. And then in one sentence, what does Techlan do for release liner recycling?
Not sure whether I can answer that in one sentence, but we recover release liner, we repurpose it, allowing it to be reused once again as a recycled release liner. And that's in one sentence.
Very clear, spot on. And then really to be very frank there, what is the biggest barrier today? Awareness, collection, contamination economics, or in markets? What it's really?
Well, I think there are a number of challenges really, not just one, but I think the primary challenge is perception, really. Perception of the material and also logistics. Now, for a true circular economy really to progress, it depends on people recognizing that the release liner, it's not waste, but it's actually a product. That's key in this, and it's a product that can be reused once again. Now, a lot of people, a lot of organizations at very high level, they look at this, and like you and I, we're trying to change the world here. We're trying to make people aware of what's happening, within release liners, improve the recyclability and the recovery rates. But a lot of this stems back down to the operators on the machines, actually. And they're critical to the success of a system, because we can discuss as much as we want, but it's the guys, it's the boots on the ground that will make or break a system. And historically, a lot of operators have taken waste and they've discarded it and thrown it away, and they don't really care, or they don't understand what happens to it. Why should they? Because it's a waste material. But we find we get a lot of improved success rate on a system by educating the machine operators. Yeah, so they understand what happens to the waste. In that result, we get a better opportunity to recover more materials. So we actually offer a service to go in and educate machine operators on why it's important to recover the material and why we need it in a certain format. And we find that we get a better recovery rate by doing that. From a practical standpoint, there are solutions available, but because of generally the sort of low inherent commercial value of the waste release liner, logistics are a big, they have a big impact on success rate, and it makes collection, storage, and transport. It needs to be efficient for any solution to succeed, and that's quite a big challenge within the industry, making it commercially viable.
Very good. And you mentioned quite a few challenges there, which is very important actually to have a very straightforward conversation. I like very much, because that resonates a lot with my thinking, this mindset shift. We really need to think that waste is becoming value moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's
100%. Yeah. It's not waste.
Not yet.
It's a product.
Exactly.
A product that can be reused once again.
Love that one, simply. And then exactly which type of liners do you accept? Paper film construction, and what it's rejected?
Yeah, so we take spent silicone release liners only in roll format. So it's only product on rolls on a core that we accept. We can take paper liners, we can take filmic liners. Paper is our main focus at the moment, but we recover liner from lots of different sectors. But from the label sector, predominantly it's the glassine release liners that we recover. Has to be in rolls. It's got to be on cores. And at the moment, we accept our minimum width is 165 millimeters wide. Okay, but we are looking at developing our process to go narrower than that. We don't accept skeletal waste of any kind, and all the material that we receive must be, on rolls on a core of a set width. In terms of collecting that material, we just need the rolls to be stacked on a pallet, vertically on a pallet, and packaged securely. We only need one pallet that can be collected anywhere within the UK.
Very good. And then people say, and that's very important because you alluded to that before, people are saying a lot, siliconized paper, it's very hard to recycle. What is the reality? What condition make it workable and what condition make it fail at the end of the day?
Yeah, good question. When I first started this business, trying to develop the recycling solution, our cleaning solution, there were no solutions available. There are more available now, but when we first started, we were really the first. But I suppose within that question, there's two questions. Is it hard to recycle technically, or is it hard to get someone to recycle it?
Indeed.
Yeah. So my feeling is the challenge is not so much technical. We have a technical solution and it's working, and we have a commercially viable business, and we're sourcing and adding to our feedstock of release liners on a weekly basis. And there are other companies that have solutions. So I don't think it's really more of a technical challenge. It's more of the separating, the storing, and sort of trying to scale up that, which is the barrier to it. So a lot of other schemes available often require suppliers to store large volumes of liner over sort of potentially long periods of time, and they've got to invest heavily in logistics.
Indeed.
And on that, the perspective then is it's hard to recycle because it takes a lot of organization, a lot of logistics, a lot of bulk to make it commercially viable. So that's the perception that I've got, and I think a lot of other people have within the industry. But we at Techlan, we developed a simple model. So we collect as little as one pallet anywhere in the UK, which removes the need for long-term storage. And we're also looking at expanding this now into to mainland Europe. So it's making it as simple as possible. But the perception is it's difficult because there's a lot of logistics and storage involved in collections.
Very clear. And then what does the output become, and what types of customers use it? If you can tell us more about that. And product.
Yeah. So our output material is a 100% recycled or repurposed release liner, which is sold under our trademark Reliner, and it can 100% replace a new or a prime grade release liner. So we're supplying release liner, but it's 100% recycled, quality assured, manufactured to a high specification. So the waste rolls that we bring in, we quality assure every single roll that comes in. We'll run that through our cleaning process, our patented cleaning process. We quality assure it, and then we convert that into a format for the customer. So we would take the waste rolls, we could convert that into rolls, into sheets, into spools. So any company that's using a release liner within their process, or as an end product, for instance, could be using Reliner. And we supply all sorts of sectors. We supply the print and graphics sector, packaging sector, automotives, any sector that's using a pressure sensitive or an adhesive based product, then, we would potentially have a Reliner that could substitute what they're currently using. So, we produce Reliner commercially at scale in Slashley. There's a great deal of demand for our products because, of course, they're much more sustainable than a new release liner. Looking at our business model as a whole, I'd say one limiting factor, if you want to look at a constraint potentially, is that our incoming feedstock, once processed, is our outgoing reliner product. So, we are governed by, because we're 100% reuse, so we're governed by incoming material specification. to what our end product is sold at. But yeah, pretty much if all product is reworked and repurposed to be sold as a release liner once again.
Super clear. And then if you don't mind sharing one proof point and then as well one constraint, what breaks the process at the end of the day?
Yeah, well, I suppose the constraint is the width, is the incoming width of material. Yeah, so if we're governed by width is a key factor. So if we anything below 165 millimeters in width, then we can't accept. So that's sort of a constraint really on on what we can process. We are working on that. Bearing in mind when we started this business, we were running reels at 1.6 meters in wide. And we've developed that process now to become more and more efficient. We're now running product at 165 millimeters wide. And all of this is reuse of material. So we've become very, very efficient in what we do and in our process in order to be able to access more material and more sectors. We've only been involved in the label sector for 18 months. We started in aerospace, solution in aerospace. We've got a solution in adhesive coating sectors, medical. Now in the last 18 months, we've achieved a lot in the label sector. But yeah, I'd say that's a constraint.
Very clear. And then if a company, let's say a brand owner using labels and having used release liner wants to start to recycle them, really diverting their release liner waste to recycling, what are the 3 practical steps and the minimum requirements?
So 3 practical steps are to link up and make contact with us initially for us to understand what you're producing. We then liaise with the supplier. We establish what they're producing. Does it fit the criteria? And the criteria is on cause, no skeletal waste, just glassine waste, and over 165 millimeters in width. If they fit that criteria, then we visit the site. We talk with the supplier. We understand their requirements. We look at what they're producing. We discuss how the system can work. Offer training if needs be to the guys on the shop floor, and then on from that we run a trial. They produce the material. We bring it in. We qualify it. If it looks good, we set the system up and start running and operating collections. It's all very simple.
I want you really to summarize. It looks very simple listening to you.
It is very simple. We made it simple deliberately because if you overcomplicate it, it doesn't work.
Then it's no business, right? I really want to say big thank you, Mark. I really appreciated it. We met at Label Expo, but it's amazing to have you in the call today, in the conversation. And I really would like to make a call to action. If someone wants to make a pilot to really kind of get the diverting release liner to circularity and do something for the planet, they should reach to us. And please contact CELAB Europe. Please contact as well for what you heard here, Mark from Techlan. And summing up, takeaway solutions exist, but they are conditional. Clean collection, define acceptance criteria, and then verified end markets. CELAB Europe was mapping collections and recycling solutions on the interactive map. Please reach out, please go there, watch it on our website. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marius.
Thanks a lot, Mark.